I used to do a lot of driving at night, not because of work or anything serious. Back when I was in my late teens and early 20s, my friends and I would stay out until really late. We thought it was cool to hang out at parks or in parking lots until 5 a.m. every weekend. Looking back, I realize it was a silly way to spend time. Because of that, I've had my fair share of late-night drives, and that's when you usually encounter drunk drivers and unpredictable folks on the roads. It was a Saturday night, and it must have been close to 5 in the morning. I was ready to head home. I had just dropped off a friend at their place after spending time at the park. Before going home myself, I needed to fill up my gas tank. I used to prefer getting gas late at night because there were usually no other cars around. I pulled into one of the gas stations I often used, not too far from my parents' house. While walking towards the building to pay, a short guy wearing a hood walked past me. Suddenly, he stopped and gave me a serious look as I walked by. I asked, "What's up?" while continuing to walk. He didn't say anything, so I just kept going. Seemed like a typical situation with someone on drugs. I went into the building to pay for my gas and bought a lottery ticket. When I returned outside and started filling up, it was really quiet, like a ghost town. After finishing, I got back in my car and began driving home. About halfway there, I heard something behind me. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw someone in the back seat staring at me. I screamed so loud it felt like my lungs would burst. I hit the brakes and yelled, "Get out!" It turned out to be the guy from the gas station. I opened the doors and screamed for help. A few people from nearby houses came out, and the guy ran away down the street, saying something creepy about slitting my throat. I didn't chase him. Instead, I told the people who came out about the stranger in my back seat. Once he was out of sight, I thanked the people and continued driving home, making sure I didn't see him again. It was the scariest thing that ever happened to me. Next story. This story happened in Los Angeles, and I was about 8 or 9 years old at the time. My dad worked as a teacher in the suburbs, not too close to where we lived. I went to the same school where he taught, so we would ride together every day. But to make it to school on time, we had to wake up really early and leave before the sun came up. We were usually the first customers since the station had just opened. Back then, gas stations offered full service. An attendant in a booth would come out to pump gas, clean the windows, and more. The attendant always had a bunch of bills in his pocket and a device on his belt to count coins. Behind the gas pumps, there were small bathrooms. I often used the bathroom when we stopped there because the drive to school was quite long. One morning, we arrived at the gas station before sunrise, only to find it completely empty. It was silent, except for the sounds of passing traffic. No attendant was in the booth or anywhere around. My dad honked the car horn, but there was no response. We wondered what could be wrong. Dad thought maybe the attendant was in the bathroom, but when he didn't show up, Dad suggested the attendant might have had car trouble and couldn't make it to work on time. We waited for a while, but no other cars arrived. I told Dad I needed to use the bathroom, but he said we couldn't wait any longer, and I could use the next station's bathroom. We left, still puzzled about the situation. A day or two later, Dad read the local newspaper and exclaimed loudly. He shared with us a small article about a gas station attendant found murdered with multiple stabs in the men's bathroom of the station we usually went to. The motive seemed to be robbery, as all the money was missing. Even though it wasn't a lot in the early morning, the killer didn't stop. The article didn't mention the exact amount taken. I often think about how it would have affected me if I had insisted on using that station's bathroom and found the murdered attendant. After that incident, we never went to that gas station again. What are your thoughts about this stories? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out one of these videos to help the channel grow. See you next time around. Take care.